I'd like to welcome everyone to this Market Fit Friday web chat. My name is Rick Dearborn. The web chats are forums to share ideas from the best thought leaders in the field of online marketing video. Today's chat is sponsored by the 10daymarketingmakeover.com and Gil Efron, author of the book How to Give Your Business an Extreme Marketing Makeover, which is available at Amazon.com. The principles found in Gil's book are the foundation of how we approach marketing video at MarketFit. Our guest today is Stephen Volk of Volk Video Services in Birmingham, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. Steve has been in the video production business for a long time and has observed the transition from older delivery technologies into online video, which gives him a unique perspective on the process. This is an interactive web chat, so you're welcome to submit questions at any time during the 30-minute program by entering them into the Q&A window at the bottom of your screen. And just hit enter or return when you're done. And we're not going to have a Q&A period at the end, so please submit questions at any time. We're happy to interrupt and take them. And Stephen, nice to have you with us here today. And looks like you've got your sweater on. Must be cold in Michigan. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got where you are today.
Hi, Rick. Thanks for having me. And yes, it is finally winter. It's snowing. We might even get a full inch, which would be nice to cover the ground for the first time this winter. It is beautiful. I just was this morning, in fact, down shooting in downtown Detroit in an old vacant burned out building, and it was cool with the snow in the background. So got to take advantage of those opportunities. I really started this business as a extension of a passion that I had back in high school. I was the photographer for the yearbook, had a little business, shot film, 8mm Super 8 movie film, and I was very passionate about it, loved it. I was making a little bit of money and spending money, and my guidance counselor told me that I would never have the kind of living that I would like as a professional photographer. So he said, you got to go to business school. So I went on to business school in Ohio and graduated, and then I spent 21 years in the business world in a sales and marketing role, doing a lot of communication, presentations, graphical stuff. I stayed in touch with photography and video a little bit over the time, and was always buying the newest and latest stuff. And then eventually my wife got an opportunity to be an art teacher at a school, which was her dream, and I said, I'm going to leave the corporate world and pursue my dream, which was to have a video studio. So I converted I converted in my mind my old darkroom from years ago, 30 years ago, into a digital darkroom and built the studio and bought all the HD equipment. I've been in business in my 7th year right now, so it's been great.
Well, tell us a little bit about Volk Video Services and what your company's all about.
So Volk Video Services position ourselves in the market as really a professional alternative for people that are trying to leverage video in the marketplace. And as we all know, video is definitely the medium of today and the future. There's more time spent watching video online than about any other thing. And so we work with our clients, whether they're nonprofit organizations, small and medium-sized businesses, professionals, to produce their stories and tell their stories on the web. That can be anything from corporate overview videos to testimonial videos, how-to videos, and things of that nature that help, call to action, helping our customers, get what they're looking for: new customers, more revenue, announcing products, or soliciting for funds if they're a nonprofit.
So how would you describe your client base right now? What's the range of types of people that you're working with these days?
So it's a lot of fun. One of the reasons I do enjoy the business is I don't feel that I've pigeonholed the company into any particular market. So we have the thrill of working with private schools in the area that are very $30,000 a year high schools. We work with some universities, University of Michigan, on some higher end projects, and we work with doing 5th grade graduation videos for the elementary school, local elementary school. So really a wide variety of people in the educational market. The political scene, we do a lot of work for the Walk-A-Days. Have you ever seen Walk-A-Day videos online? Mayor Dave Bing, all the governors in Michigan. The last several years we've done all the Walk-A-Day videos, which are a fun project and a good template to follow to let people decide who they're going to vote for in the election process. And then we have a lot of corporate clients that we've had for years. We have some PR customers where we do all their PR work and help them put together their presentations, and we have corporate clients from people that do hardwood floor refinishing to doctors and chiropractors, really about any business owner that has a story they need to tell.
Very good. Now, you've been in business for a while, so you've seen a transition from other delivery methods to online video. And tell us about what that's meant for you, and how you've had to adapt to the new environment, and we probably all are still adapting. What has that meant for you?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question, a good topic, because it certainly has been a very fast transition and a rapid transition from my viewpoint as a owner of a video services company. I mean, when we first built the studio, like I was going to get my webcam out, we invested in. Let me show you guys. Two robotic arm duplicators. We got one over here. We got another one over here. And back in the day, we would produce a project, and somebody would need 100 or 1,000 or 2,000 DVDs, and those things were running. It was great. They ran. They're the best employees we could have. They're always there, always worked, and people wanted DVDs. And in the last 2 or 3 years, the purchase of our DVDs and the duplication has just plummeted. So now we really basically distribute through online. We build YouTube channels for our clients, and that's really the main mechanism for 95% of our delivery is through the web. Now we're creating video they can host on their own through their own web servers, or we host for them.
It's an amazing change. It really is. By the way, it sounds like your headphones might have gotten unplugged there. Let's talk a little bit about what other changes, Stephen, that might have resulted for you. We've talked about the technology, the delivery technology, gone from DVD duplications to YouTube. Has that changed how you produce content at all for the new medium? I mean, as Marshall McLuhan used to say, the medium is the message. So how do we, the channel that we distribute through in some way affects the message itself. How has that changed what you do on the front end side?
Yeah, I think there's definitely an element to to consider when you're developing your story as to how it's going to be delivered. Although I would submit that the fundamental principles of building a story and telling the message that you want are the same. I think the difference now is that you have a little less control over things like navigation. I mean, in the day, we used to do work for they called them view books for the private schools, and you could basically control how someone navigated through a DVD and how they were able to grab different chapters and see different aspects of the school if they were looking to spend money to go there. Now, you're really leaving it up to the user to decide which content they're going to read. If you're going to break something into 10 or 12 chapters, you're loading it on a page and somebody else is deciding. So kind of that part of it, we lost some control. But on the other hand, I would say we gained control because we can track better. We can basically know at some level who's watching the video and for how long. There's definitely some analytic tools that we need to learn more about. I know that's one of the things you're doing, Rick, is helping develop some of that for all the associates here. But the story's still the same. The attention span may be a little different, and you have to consider that when you're working through a web delivery.
Let's talk a little bit about that attention span thing. We hear a lot of discussion about that, and I've attended lots of webinars and a lot of professionals, and everyone's trying to figure that out. We've used some analytics, and I think that's what you're hinting at. We're currently using a company called Vidyard, and what that allows us to do is to post a video on there and to actually play the video after a month or so and see where the engagement drops off. So you can see at what point in the video. And I know I attended a conference, I think it was with Ooyala, and they said that they've seen that the engagement after 7 minutes is a waste of time. That 2 to 3 minutes is good. There's no definitive answer. I think if you've got engaging content, people stay with you. But are you finding that you're having to deal with shorter form material than you used to?
Yes, I would say that's definitely the case. I mean, when YouTube came out, I think YouTube's only 6 years old. I mean, this is it's amazing that it's so prolific. But everyone was very concerned. There was a huge carryover as far as on the corporate side, that everyone thought you had to produce everything as a 30-second or a 60-second spot, because that's the way production was done. For commercials. So I think that helped or I should say, that hindered the flexibility that really there is in this delivery format, because you have no time constraints, no restrictions. You really have to understand who the audience is. What's their level of engagement with your customer? Are they prospecting? Are they educating? Are they informing? Are they persuading? What are they trying to do is going to really help determine if you got to do something that's only going to be 90 seconds long, or if you can really pull that 5 or 6 minutes and get that, keep the attention and get the action that you want. So our, I guess, differentiator in the market is we try to understand, and I would suggest everyone understand fully, what's the purpose of the video, who's the audience, not only from a technical perspective, are they consumers at home that maybe they'll dial up, or is this a project that's going to be run on an intranet where there's plenty of bandwidth, but also, what are they accustomed to, and how long can you hold their attention to get to the point that you are asking them to do something?
Well, the message remains the same. It's got to be well thought through. It's got to be creative. It's got to be engaging. And I'll give a little a precursor here. Our web chat next week features one of our coaches and the author of the book we've talked about, Gil Efron. He's going to be talking about how to engage people with good marketing writing. And of course, that works with videos. You still have to write a video.
Yep.
By the way, I want to remind everybody that's tuned in right now, we'd love your questions. This is an interactive meeting. You can participate in it. So if you've got questions of any kind for Stephen or myself, just put them at the bottom of your screen and push enter, and we'd be happy to take them up. Let's talk a little bit about equipment. I don't normally get into this, but we were talking before this chat about a shoot you were on this morning where people are using DSLRs. I mean, for me, this is just amazing because I've got a few more years in this, but I remember shooting in the 70s with a $55,000 camera on my shoulder, an Ikegami HL79, and having to have someone follow along with a separate 1-inch recorder with an umbilical cord, and that was good stuff. But my gosh, all the videos, pretty much all the videos on the MarketVid site were shot with a Kodak ZI-8 camera, which cost $195, and it's for certain things it works pretty darn well. Mm-hmm. What are you finding? What are you shooting with? Are you finding that you're working with DSLRs, or of course a DSLR is a phenomenal piece of equipment. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
Well, what's going on with that?
I am kind of a holdout. I have not made the conversion over to shooting projects in DSLR. For a couple of reasons. I mean, I think you have to look at your business model, and we obtain probably 30% of our revenue from longer form formats. We do a lot of work in multi-camera dance recitals, performance videos, event video, and that really doesn't lend itself yet to the DSLR market because you just don't have the capture length on the cards, and the cameras are not equipped for external capture yet. I'm sure that'll change rapidly. So we do have to maintain, the longer format. We can get, we still shoot on CF cards, but we don't, we couldn't really do that with DSLRs for a lot of our projects. We do have a lot of projects where we could use DSLRs, and if we had the money, we certainly would jump right in. Unfortunately, as a photographer, I sold all my lenses and all my photography equipment years ago, and the lenses are the expensive part of getting in the DSLR. I wish I had hung on to them because it would have been a lot less of a hit to jump in. But a lot of people are shooting with them. Most of my friends across the country that have video studios like myself were photographers, still had lenses, have went out and bought bodies and maybe upgraded a little bit. It takes a lot of equipment to get to shoot a DSLR project because, until last week, none of them had any audio port until there was a new announcement last week. So you had to have separate audio. A lot of different equipment for doing the job is still the same. You still have to have lighting, you still have to have good audio, and some of that's going to cross over. So I think the investment's just got to be done at the right time. And of course, the biggest plus is the depth of field, which is just so sweet with those DSLR shots. You can't beat it.
Yeah. The problem I have is more of a physical one. There's something about if you're trying to do handheld shots, having that thing on your shoulder and being able to get your whole body into it, and holding some little thing out here in space that's tiny little thing like this, to me it's a challenge. I guess they've got all kinds of harnesses. In fact, one of our members at MarketVid is involved in a company that makes special harnesses for DSLRs. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the company right now, but
yeah,
to try to do that. But that's a challenge.
It is a challenge, but I tell you, there's a lot of low cost. I just bought a slider. we do a lot of dolly shots, and sliders are just so much easier to set up, and the price of that equipment has dropped so much because of the DSLR market that, what used to be $3,000-4,000 to buy a slider for a, and I give a light enough camera. My Sony HD cameras only weigh 9 pounds, so I can get away with buying some of that DSLR equipment and using it in the old-fashioned video world, and it's great stuff. I mean, it's definitely it's helped support the huge movement which a lot of video people still do as far as creating content. Zooming is just dead. I mean, you don't zoom anymore. You have to pan, you have to dolly, you have to pull in and pull out. And the reason that's become so popular is because with these little lightweight cameras, you can do that, and you buy a $200 device and you're moving around. So it's forcing, I think, the old skill and art of how to be cinematographic in your video, pushing it further ahead for all of us to learn how to do that.
The other reason I think with the pushing in and out business that we found is in some of our training videos in MarketVid, is if you're using a cheap camera, there is no zoom lens. I mean, it's a digital zoom. And boy, you just zoom in a little bit and the pixelation is horrible. I mean, you could really see immediately what you get for what you pay for.
Yeah.
So when you're using those cameras, you really, I put tape over the zoom buttons so I'm not even tempted to touch them. But then you do have to make all the physical moves, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about lighting. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, down at the shoot this morning, and kind of relates to technology because, we all have to accept the fact that it's changing fast and it's impacting us. I just found out earlier this week about a job that I've done, which is a pretty simple, straightforward job, but it's decent money, which is editing all of a highlight video for the local football team. They have 11 games throughout the season. They have 3 cameras. They shoot it all. We bring it in here. I put it online and get different students and parents to go in and build logs, and we take the logs in and we build the multicam and edit it. Well, when they called yesterday to say that they're not going to do it next season, I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, there's now software out there that basically, is a tagging system that the coach or somebody up in the booth can sit there and tag every play as it's happening. It's all built with pulled on menus and screens. There's no more editing. It's basically, by the time the game's over, they know every play, every move. It's got this, they have every sport covered. So there's things they're going to be chipping away at us because it doesn't need that, that particular thing doesn't need a high production quality. Just trying to get, highlight film. So we have to accept that. The GoPro camera, I mean, that thing's phenomenal. What that can do, and a lot of stuff that maybe we used to get involved with, shooting, action point of view stuff is done through those little $285 cameras, and it's pretty good quality. They put a lot of money into it. They figured out audio issues, and it just means we have to find other markets and be prepared to find where we can, make a good buck and make a product that's better than somebody that has a few $100 to buy something.
Maybe I guess I'm not embarrassed to say, but my time in this industry goes back quite a ways, and I would say that in those days when I was first involved in video, that you would have about maybe 5 years between groundbreaking technologies where something really astounding would come out that would change the way you worked. And now it seems like it's every month. Here you're talking about a significant part of your business, or a part of it that's gone away suddenly because of a change in technology. How do you stay in business and keep up with that all the time? It seems almost impossible.
It's tough. I think I look at it as any professional that's in their field needs to spend time, reading and studying and learning about their industry. And so, whether it's through the kind of associations that you're created, or through the web, or there's so much content out there. The problem more is filtering this good stuff, so you know what to read, because you can spend your whole day just on Google reading stuff. So I guess over time that I've been doing this, I feel like I have pretty good sources of information, try to keep a pulse on what's important and get rid of the stuff that isn't, because there's always plenty of stuff that I just don't have time to read. But trying to just keep on top of things, and I also like to participate and go on more shoots. You can go places, see other people doing things, and just see what they're doing, see what's going on. I mean, you go on Craigslist and find out a shoot that's coming up where they need extras, and just go show up. see what they're doing, how they're doing it, what are they using. Those are the people that have, you go to some of those shoots, you're seeing they got unlimited budgets, and you kind of see what's out there now and what's going to come down the pike for those of us that want to spend 10 grand on a camera, not 100 grand on the Red. So stay
Sure,
involved.
great. Just want to remind everybody we've got a couple of professionals here that have been around the block. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask them. We got about 10 minutes left, so be sure to pop something in the bottom if you want to ask something. Tell us a little bit about, do you have a particular approach, Stephen, an angle, shall we say, with how you approach productions that is effective for you?
Yes, I would say, and we talked about this a little earlier about some of the more formal aspects of production, storyboarding and things of that nature, and I'm always kind of torn on how much structure to put into a production versus maintaining the freedom and looseness of and flexibility. But to me, at the end of the day, what really is important is understanding what the client wants. I think that's what we work hard and strive hard on. We get calls, I don't say every week, but very frequently saying, hey, I've got this thing, can you come shoot next Tuesday? And I'm always like, well, why? What are we shooting for? Yeah, we can come shoot, but we're going to end up with 4 hours of video, and then you're going to spend a fortune editing it. So what's the purpose? Why would we come shoot this? What are you trying to do with it? And just slowing people down that just want a video but don't understand that they need to think about what it's for. And this happens at all levels. I shot a video 2 weeks ago. There's a couple of Fortune 500 companies here, and this person had secured an interview with the CEO of one of the Fortune 500s. I went to their office. We shot the video after begging my client, what's the purpose of it? What are we can talk about? Oh, we just needed to show up and shoot it. Well, we shot a 45-minute interview, fascinating information, and now struggling with, we got all this great content, but why? So, and not that we don't have good content, but it's just going to be a lot harder to edit it and figure out what are we doing with this footage? What's the purpose of it? How are you going to use it to move forward? And that's what our emphasis is at Volk Video, is really sitting down with clients and understanding, what's your goal, what's your purpose, who's your audience, and that's kind of the approach we take.
Some years ago, my kids were attending a summer camp, and the director offered me to trade out tuition for our kids if I would spend a weekend shooting the camp video. And at that time, I was a professor of video at a college, and was right along the lines of what you're saying. You've got to organize, and what's your focus? And so I sat down with this guy. He says, I don't know, just shoot it. And I was really frustrated. In fact, the guy had taken my class. And I said, we've talked about these things. He says, well, I've got all winter to edit this thing. I don't care. Just run around and be sure you cover everything. And it was very frustrating. I did it, but it was frustrating to not be able to do that.
Yeah, and that's
let's talk.
I was going to say it's a tough thing as a business owner that to push back on a client, because you want business. You want to say, yeah, I'll take the job. I'll come shoot for you. But I think that it's actually doing your ultimate customer a favor. And even if you don't get the business, I've lost jobs because of that. Because I'm saying, well, I'd rather meet with you and figure out what you want to do, and they're like, no, I just want to shoot. Sometimes I think in the long run, if you're really doing your customer a service, you're forcing them to go through that process.
Sure. Let's talk a little bit about analytics. This is another thing that really impresses me about working with online is, you make a DVD and send it out someplace. Who knows, what happens with that? Maybe it's not even opened. But gosh, with the types of analytics we get with the content management systems today, where you can go into these dashboards and see, engagement levels and what, city they were in. Is this, how much does this play into what you're doing with your customers? Are you involved in that at all, or tell us what you think about the analytics thing?
We are involved in it, but nowhere near what we need to be and what I hope to be. As time evolves, I think there's, a lot of applications, software applications and hosting services that continually come out and change to try to support this topic, and I think I'm going to personally make sure that we embrace it heavier. Right now, the level we're doing mostly is just drop-off rates. Okay, we've got a 3-minute video, and we can track and see, okay, are 80% of the users dropping off after 30 seconds, meaning that we're not engaging them long enough. Just kind of really some high-level stuff. But of course, with the better analytics, you can get better, demographic information. You can understand better why people are watching it. It's based on the actions they're taking. So I think this is the next this is really the next thing that's going to help build better ROIs for all of our customers, is to be able to walk in and say, look, we now know that in this market, for this kind of story, this kind of message, what you want, you need to produce, a series of 5 60-second videos, and here's why. Whereas right now it's more of a gut feel, or it's looking at what somebody else is doing, one of their competitors. So the analytics, I think, is really going to help tie this together and help validate and, like I said, build the business cases for, building good, strong relationships and ongoing customers, which we all need to stay in business.
And the other factor, of course, with video is SEO. Everyone's talking about search engine optimization, and now when people go to find you, they search for you, and SEO tremendously helps that. Being able to tie in all these different forms of analytic and really see what's going on. Some of these things are real time. I mean, you can at any moment see with some of the analytics we've seen, where you can see right that instant how many people are watching your video, where they are, and what they're looking at. It just gives you had blinders on basically before,
right,
or even a blindfold.
Yep. One tip
so
that
really
I'd share, and I don't know if people are aware of this, but one of the benefits, and we offer this as a service to our customers, but if you take a video and closed caption it, and you include that XML data in the video file, then that is searchable by the search engine. So they can't search a video file, but they can search the closed captioning of a video file. And that is a big impact on getting your video engine optimization up. And it's not an easy thing to do. Google had some tools, and YouTube had tools that did it automatically. There's a lot of products out there. There's now services that do just that. And people, I think, traditionally thought closed captioning was for deaf people, which it is. But the other huge benefit is it puts all those words and those keywords into the search files for your video.
Yeah, you're right on with that. That's so important because a search engine can't watch a video.
Right.
So you have to create keywords or scripts or things. Some people will paste the entire script in, and you look for a certain keyword density, but that's a way to do that, and then just pick that script right up. It's fantastic. Let me ask you just a couple questions, and we'll wrap up here.
Okay.
We're really about out of time. I ask all of our guests this. In terms of the implementation and usage of video by businesses, online marketing video, and you could put that on a scale of 1 to 100, with 1 being, barely nothing, 100 being saturation. Where would you say the business use of video is right now?
Of online video.
Yes, online video.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question, and I feel that living in Detroit, might be a little skewed because we have the automotive companies that are huge advertisers with the major billion-dollar budgets, and I've never been a tier 1 supplier to any of them. Don't want to be in my business, but just seeing the spend move from the commercials and into the online world, and you can see the infrastructure is built around that happening. These are people that are very smart, very intelligent, have billions of dollars to spend, and we've seen ad agencies go from 3,000 people down to 500 because they're producing video, and then there's it takes a couple people to buy the spots and the time on the different social media. So I believe strongly this is the way it's going to go. As far as the rest of the world and other businesses, I'd say it's maybe 10-15% of people really understand and get it, and of those, half of them think they can still do it with a handy cam and or their flip phone or their iPhone, and for some instances that's the way to do it. But there's certainly a lot of value in a professionally produced lit audio and edited video that, for the right company, is with the right brand and the right message, it's the way to go. And find you can get that story out to the right people, you're going to have a business, and that's what we're trying to do here.
If you could share any kind of a tip with our viewers right now before we sign off, something that's important to you about the use of marketing video, what would that be?
I guess I would say that I feel strongly that it's important to be very candid with clients. I think that when you do get small business owners, or even medium-sized business owners, they all have like us. I mean, they all have big egos, and sometimes the projects start to lean more towards something that they just want to be able to brag to their friends about, or in the same token, it's just like the topic of not planning something out. I mean, pushing back on clients, getting them to think more about the purpose of it and staying on track with that purpose. In the long run, you're better off serving your customer that way rather than just reacting and accepting everything they want, because you are the expert. And even if you've only been doing this for a year, you've been doing it for a year longer than than the customers that are coming to you. That's why they're coming to you, because you're the expert. I happen to be lucky. We've shot and produced over 1,000 projects in the last 6 years, so I feel more confident in pushing back on somebody and helping them go through that process of understanding what it is and staying on track as we're producing and editing and delivering. So that would be my advice.
Great. Well, thank you very much. And Stephen, thanks for being with us today. Steve's very busy. It's been difficult to find the time to do this, so we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. And today's chat has been sponsored again by the 10-day marketing makeover.com and Gil Efron, author of the book How to Give Your Business an Extreme Marketing Makeover, which is available at Amazon.com. And I always like to put a pitch in for this book because it really is important to me personally. That fact that Gil's approach is you take a look at your entire sales process from front to back, break it down to the granular level, look for what he calls points of constraint, areas where your customer has trouble making a decision, and then develop your marketing approach specifically for those points of constraint and develop videos for those. So you're not just, doing videos about everything. And that's a very focused and good approach that I think we have. In fact, that leads to our next discussion, but our guest next week will in fact be Gil Efron. On February 17th at the same time. Gil is a nationally known marketing expert from New York City, and he'll be talking about mastering the art and science of marketing writing, something that's very important in doing press releases, developing videos, everything. And Gil is, he helps me with my writing all the time. He's very good at that. And it's something that I think this web chat next week that every business will find very useful. So free registration for the event is now open, and I encourage everyone to sign up right away. This web chat has been recorded and will be available in the Friday web chats area of marketvid.com after we post it, probably on Monday. So thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next Friday, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.